healing on Fleet for work.
That is important.
That's true.
That's very important.
And there's still a play to the Ruin King. Cuz needs reduced healing on his I'm taking a drink and wandering around, okay? And Rascal's got a lot of healing as well.
That 60 healing becomes like 40.
I know!
All right. You
really
convinced me.
You have to challenge that one, because it's not like they're bursting anyone right now.
Run to some
competition. He's not running. He's killing.
Let's take a look at how much healing he can reduce this fight.
Now, Camille's not there and doesn't have TP, so actually could have understood them trying to make something happen. Unfortunately, they're behind 12,000 gold, so probably still would have lost 4v5.
It was almost looking like a flanking play there from Nogri as he's still positioning. You can see picture-in-picture. Now considering whether or not this red buff is coming back off cooldown as the Baron is being pinged. And Nogri's going to wander over a ward getting there. I have a feeling that Kingzone will know that this is happening.
Cue the Daft Punk.
We really need this static shift to move on over into position. Kingzone, I don't think they're going to be here in time this time around. 1,000 health, and that's a very dead Baron. It is taken by the Kaiser as there's the flash from Tucson, trying to turn it, but no last breath is going to be channeled. Barrel once again, party cast into mid lane for no reason. There's the flash forward. Good body slam though. Make sure that Showmaker can't get in. A big pulverize from Beryl. An angry cow just inviting his teammates to pick up some kills, but they haven't happened yet. And Neon still hasn't pressed R. And the disengage happened.
That was actually a very difficult all-in to try to avert with so much of a gold disadvantage. Smartly, Neon doesn't take a one-way trip to the death chamber. DAMWON overforcing their engage, as we know, is pretty conditional without flashes up. They use them, they don't get an engage. They actually have to use this Baron intelligently in 3 lanes. Remember, they had a huge lead in game number 2, then just made it about team fights when they didn't need to. This one is more forgiving with the gold lead they have, but they have been thwarted, at least at the first turn.
It's a lot of very large gold advantages in these lanes as well. The 409 Showmaker Renekton. Now, with a 700 gold bounty on his back, a 60 CS advantage on top of it. Here at 23 minutes into the game, ain't nothing to scoff at with double Infernal building almost towards his Guardian Angel. It's going to be a very scary crocodile in the middle of these team fights, not to mention 3 items already done on Nuclear. We're getting slowed down. The rest of the team, though, is going to turn up. Big pulverize once again as Cuz says, nope, I ain't getting into this fight. As the Cocoon comes forward, Killer Instinct, that's 1Q, and a very dead Cuz.
He got nuked.
Oh yeah, he did. Finally, Nuclear living up to his name as Beryl, diving under the turret. Rascal, oh no, this is just looking like DWG Gaming have the heaviest wallets that we've seen so far this series, and are finally using them intelligently.
Only 23 minutes into the game, but it feels hella over. Now we're going to get in the mid lane, inhibit a turret. They'll get a second one in the bottom side here. This could be lethal range for just ending the game with one more pick.
Yeah, this is Kingzone. They're battling for Helm's Deep, but Gandalf is not coming to save them this time around.
He's not?
Nope, sorry. It's in your script. Read it. As DWG looking for that one last reset before they send the rest of the troops in to take this one down.
They're playing as safe as humanly possible, and probably because of what happened
yeah, I mean,
in game number 2.
Look at Cuz, the drive-by. It's like, no.
Just watch Nuclear.
he really waits smartly down here, and then is able to burst 600 HP with auto and a Q.
Yeah,
that's very talented. Now, let's take a look at this as they pin Aatrox up against the wall.
That's what a gold lead feels like. There's nothing Aatrox can do here. So we've got another WQ. Beryl, calm down.
Yep, Tucson does avoid at least the Cocoon as Rascal. He's very good at dying in these scenarios, but this time he's not going to be that time. They'll take Tucson. He's going to be the consolation prize, and Rascal's going to be able to slink back towards his fountain unless Nogri can catch him. Because there are 2 inhibitors down. The last one is now being targeted. As thankfully that Void Seeker didn't land because this AP Kaiser does a hell of a lot of damage. With that W ability, DWG now bearing down on these Nexus turrets.
You know, I'm not used to watching this, in the LCK. This has been 3 games that have gone by extremely quickly.
Yeah, this is some high-octane League of Legends, one way or the other. Another ultimate is going to come in there as Beryl doing the best he can with these pulverizers. Tucson's going to die, and Showmaker with the Culvermeek does lock down the Gragas. Now such low health bars underneath this turret. Showmaker in underneath the fountain, and that's one hell of a pose as he's even able to survive. That's a DWG Gaming that can bounce back and move in to a game number 4 and a match point and a world's birth with fantastic momentum.
Everything calculated on the Renekton there. Love the pose. 10 out of 10 from me. And that just means, like you say, one more game victory. DWG proving they can reset after a tilting Baron steal. Ended game number 2. They may be the first ever Korean team to qualify for the play-ins and join SK Telecom T1 and Team Griffin over in Europe.
And you know, what a fitting Worlds attendance if DWG does make it. Last year there was lots of pro players that said the 2 best teams in the world aren't actually here, and they were referring to DWG and Griffin. And now, what a fitting end to LCK Summer 2019 if Griffin and DWG both go into Worlds. And DWG, they'll go into play-ins. They'll make it through, by the way. And they'll get the warm-up that can really probably benefit them.
And I was going to say, if I pushed you right now to say, all right, Griffin already in main event of Worlds, DWG playing through
You mean the finals against SKT?
Well, that's a different script.
Oh,
but on a simpler
sorry.
level, already in groups versus needing to go through play-ins, you probably now think that DWG have more upside at Worlds just because playing in play-ins and getting themselves settled in Europe, on the stage, on the patch, is probably a boon. We've had so many teams recently go from play-ins to World semifinals. That's been a pretty constant trajectory that I think that will benefit whoever the third team at Worlds is from Korea.
How the hell do you get a 20,000 gold lead at 25 minutes?
Well, it all starts with this particular game where they got a big lead. The Yasuo went the wrong direction a couple of times, and it was 12K really early, Atlas.
That wasn't a perfect game, though.
No.
Hell
So,
no,
I'm not
that's true.
impressed.
It wasn't. There was some kills back and forth, and that's what happens when you have to play that aggressively. Some pretty impressive stuff. I was ready to hold up my 10 for that particular pose, but that's actually a 1. We are going to go to a short break. When we get back, we'll see whether DWG can close it out or whether Kingzone can hold on. We'll see you then. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is game number 4 time between DWG Gaming and Kingzone DragonX, and DWG once again crushed an early game.
Yeah.
And this time, no Barons were stolen, and they got to a 20,000 gold lead when they won the game.
And this is tricky because it's kind of been the same story 3 games in a row when it comes to early game. And we were really talking about how Kingzone's top side had kind of overperformed in the last couple of games. Now everything's kind of falling apart, and the insult upon injury is they even got in the head of Defton Tucson in the bot lane here with the Elise Renekton. So the draft has to change again. Even the side selection could change. Kingzone have side selection. Is it time to just choose red side?
Well, I'm not sure what they're thinking at this point, because that's a loss that's really hard to bounce back from.
Oh,
yeah.
That was
Demoralizing.
I don't know if we've seen a larger stomp.
That
Well,
was
Jin Air played a lot of games, so...
They did, but were they ever 20,000 gold down in 25 minutes?
That's actually, you're right, that is pretty high.
That's like...
I think maybe Griffin versus KT, you remember in the first round, they just kind of blew them apart and it was kind of sad. That might have been that level.
That's true, that might have been.
What about the SKT game?
Yeah. We try to forget that one.
All right.
That was a pretty tough one. I think it does come down a lot to how well Canyon has been playing versus Cuz's slight mishaps so
You say
far
slight,
this game.
but I think Canyon's been all over him.
That's what I mean.
Canyon has been doing so much better, as even in areas that he's not supposed. He was out farming the Gragas as an Elise, and he was making things happen. He was capitalizing on
He
opportunities.
also did the most damage in the game.
Yeah. Slow down.
I don't know. I feel like Canyon's one.
You're just trying to prop him up to be something.
As like you were talking about, Papa, it is going to be a Kingzone move to the red side, and DWG are going to be on blue once again. We'll see whether this changes the bans. Of course, there was only one change, which was that Sejuani ban.
It is going to change Kingzone's approach because they're going to... Definitely, they're picking their duo lane. The Lucian Braum priority hasn't worked, and they've been trying to pick the entire duo lane on bot side. Lucian Braum, but with a losing jungle, falls apart as LS is incredulous at how good Atlas is at eating his sandwich. Very important color casting to be done.
It's been quite a long series. We haven't had a lot of time to have something to eat.
All right.
And you broke the 4th wall post.
Review the sandwich. How's the sandwich?
It was actually delicious. Yeah, a bit of ham and cheese, but it's got some added
Not
salads
toasted,
in there as
though.
well.
Untoasted ham and cheese.
Untoasted
Why
ham
don't
and
they
cheese.
toast it?
I don't know.
But when there's tomato and lettuce, you can't toast lettuce.
I don't feel
That's
that Koreans
insane.
will be into toasties. I don't know. It doesn't seem to work in my head.
There's actually a
Oh,
really great toasty
man.
place that I go to here
Isaac
in
Toast?
Korea, and it's actually really, really
That
good.
way, Isaac
No,
Toast?
It's called I won't
Listen,
shout.
Now, DWG Gaming, remember, have a top laner you usually put a lot of bans into, and the Vladimir ban's going to persist. What's the final ban going to be against DWG is an interesting thing to
Gragas.
consider. All junglers open, so Gragas definitely does stick out.
Well, I think Elise probably needs a bit of a ban here, but the Renekton is going to be the choice that Kingzone go with.
So that's definitely an area to remove the Renekton Elise pressure, but that means you don't have Renekton Elise red side to lock in as Kingzone. Remember, that was the pick from DWG in game number 3.
Such an interesting dynamic of how heavy priority Gragas is being now in this series between these two teams. Did both of them just come very unprepared to handle Gragas Yasuo?
It's an important point that Cuz is really good at the pick, but that now it's, like you mentioning, skewing some of the priorities. We don't expect this to be the case at Worlds or in other series, but given that Cuz is in there, the Gragas priority always goes up. Speaking of...
Are we Nidalee? Is he going to Nidalee Canyon's Gragas?
I think it's too early,
He's
but it
thinking
might
about it,
happen.
Atlas. Talk him into it.
Oh,
No. Come on, talk him out of it.
I actually would not like
Atlas.
to see the Sejuani here.
Get it together.
Well, I couldn't. I don't have comms with him, okay?
Now, Tucson could play support Sejuani, and the reason why I'm going there is, when you pick Sejuani, the winners are usually your solo lanes, but are you really going to play a topside game as Kingzone against Noguri and Showmaker? And the answer is usually no. As Gragas Yasuo feels like this duo that we talk about exclusively, and then people are just playing Gragas separately, and then everyone remembers Gragas Yasuo as a duo, and we see it once more.
And we've got 2 pretty good Yasuo players as well in this series, in Showmaker and Naeon. Naeon actually playing very well in game number 2, but there's the pike that
Standard
Tucson
Tucson
has been defaulting to quite a lot, and there is still a big grin on Naeon's face. What could ever take that grin away? Not entirely sure. as Deft certainly doesn't have one of those. He's going to be piloting the Kai'Sa this time around as we're looking for our second round of bans.
And there is that adjustment, Lucian Braum. Gone. Whenever you see Tom Kench, Pyke is always Tucson's answer. Famous is, of course, the interaction between the Pyke ultimate and the fact that it ignores Grey health when it comes to calculation there. Ooh. It is a lane to play through, as well as I believe we missed a ban.
Yep, we've skipped it. I'm not sure whether that is intentional, as we'll update you as to whether or not that was a mistake or just something that Kingzone decided to do.
I'm going to zoom in with my camera here.
I hope it's tactical, because we almost never see tactical missing of bans.
Yeah.
So it'd be pretty hype if it was tactical and they desperately want one pick and they're trying to engineer the access to it.
I know you really like tactical things, Papa
I do.
Smithy.
Tactical inting among my favorite
There's a ban
things.
missing.
Yep, there is definitely a ban missing, as the second one is going to be the Aatrox. I'm going to leave a space here on my sheet.
Is there a potential penalty for something?
No, you can skip a ban if you want to.
No, right, but I'm just wondering if maybe something happened. Because this normally is where they
If there is
enforce
going
it.
to be the ban loss enforced, it would have been the first round of bans.
That's true. It's not. It's never a second
round.
round ban skip. It's a first round ban skip, unless you're losing all your bans.
Okay.
So given
unless
that,
it's like 4 bans down, I don't know what you have to do for that. Like forgetting pants or something like that.
Well, Camille going to be locked in now for Kingzone. Now, this is the first time they've dialed it back. They've chosen a more scaling type of team composition. And so we're going to have to see how that fares for them. But does it maybe give us insight into what are they thinking right now? Are they afraid almost?
We're doing it. We're doing Vayne versus Space Vayne over on DAMWON's side. Nuclear has locked that one away. Shout out to the OPL broadcast for Space Vayne. They love talking about Kai'Sa that way. Is Beryl, what are we going to be augmenting this composition with?
remember, Aiming had a big pop-off game on Vayne for Afreeca Freecs, and DWG Gaming would be going into plenty of scaling of their own if they go GP.
Yeah.
They're going to play a bot side game, you imagine. I guess if Showmaker and Noguri, so Showmaker and Canyon can pop off bot lane, throw in a cannon barrage, and get Nuclear going, seems to be the way.
Yeah. Certainly not a lot of forward momentum in the first 5 levels for the Vayne and the Tahm Kench, so it might be an opportunity for Kingzone here, especially with the Pyke.
LeBlanc.
But what is the last pick going to be? Is it just going to be that LeBlanc? No, it's not. Nayeon's going to go back to his personal favorite and his most successful over the most games so far this split in the Azir.
Papa, did you ever see Shurima fall before?
I think I'm ready to.
I think you're about to see how it fell.
But this definitely strikes of, hey, coach, can I play Azir? I'm confident in Azir, rather than necessarily Azir is the best pick. Now, Azir is actually really good against short-range champions, which is all of DWG Gaming. The issue you see, though, is that you get to the team fight phase, and before that, Pandemonium on the Rift has really enacted. So it's a very risky pick given how the games are being played.
The issue for me is that DWG's recalibration in their final 2 picks to add that much insane scaling to their team composition and fight back at the scaling that was present on the side of Kingzone is such a pivot that I wasn't expecting. And I don't know if Kingzone was expecting it either. The Azir is really good. He does fall into the scaling component, but I feel like something like LeBlanc would have been so much better because it grants access to the squishies that are wanting to scale on the side of DWG.
It bridges the gap, right? Because LeBlanc takes over until the rest of the comp slides in. Now Azir is like, I'll counter even more at 35 minutes, but these games are getting done pre-35.
Yeah, and if DWG are going to have the same early game that they've had in every single game so far this series, it will be now even more difficult for Kingzone to strike back. I do like what they have in the team fights. I also do like the top lane synergy as well, given Cuz on this Sejuani pairing nicely with the Camille. But it's a very different look now for Kingzone, and being different after what was game 3, I think that sounds like a good idea as we move into game number 4 to see whether Kingzone can even out the series and give us the silver scrapes that we've been looking for. Kingzone fans have found their voice here in game number 4. Some big pickups. The Azir is a huge one for Kingzone especially, and for Nayeon. He's the man that's able to roam towards the bottom side, pick himself up those 4-man ultimates and really carry his team, but Is it going to work against what DAMWON have put together is the big question.
You know what doesn't work for me? This
What?
Yasuo skin. I hate it.
I really don't like it either.
Yeah, I'm
but he
not a
does
fan.
look a lot thinner in it. So maybe it's distorting the hitbox thought.
That sounds like an extraneous thing, but famously, when it comes to certain skins, for example,
That's why
Arctic
people
Ops
do it.
Gragas, people
Yeah.
will pick that one.
That's true.
There are little things there. It's not quite buying power, but it definitely is something that people love to fall
Steel
into.
Legion Lux
Sure.
is another really good one.
I Blitzcrank before it got nerfed.
Yeah, I think the
Cho'Gath.
the other famous one was the legendary Anivia skin that fixed the auto attack
yes,
animation. That was a big one. That one
getting
was actually banned.
Mid lane leash here is Showmaker leashing for the Gragas and does get him Q3 to enter lane.
Yeah, very standard for the Yasuos, of course. Like to stabby stab before they get to lane. Look at Naya, just setting up his friends though. All too easy. So 3 versus 1. That's how they were going to win.
Well, we'll have to see what the early game is going to have in store for us, because he's going to basically be on counter gank, match gank duty on the Sejuani, whereas Canyon, he wants to create something in mid or bottom, and so we'll have to see how Kingzone can play around it. But I'm expecting mid-game wake-ups from both of these teams. Unfortunately, Ocean Drake's going to put up a bit of a damper on early game excitement.
That being said, I mean, a very early Ocean Drake is one of those Drakes that you can be relatively happy with, especially when you've got things like an Azir and a Kaiser as, okay, Barrel's going to get stunned up. Decent amount of damage there as Def lands a big Q onto the Tahm Kench, eats through the Grey Health. This could be a taste of things to come, though, for DAMWON bottom side.
And we saw an adjustment in builds as Cuz is going to be detected on this ward. He got level 3 from half the Krug camp, but is going to be spotted. Nogari's famous pick in challenges was the Gangplank, by the way. He was seen as a real Gangplank god when he played in challenges, but it hasn't been quite the same level so far in the LCK. But the build adjustment I'm talking about is around the Vayne. If you remember, it was double lifesteal coming through from aiming. I think this is a double lifesteal game as well, as Cuz.
Yep, now I'm thinking about taxiing over towards the Yasuo, but not going to be able to find any ganks. Just some pressure.
If you go double lifesteal, it does allow you to kind of ignore the nerfed Azir damage as the game goes on and be able to stay alive, because otherwise, if you go IE, you can just be DPS'd out by the soldiers every time you tumble in.
I am now about even health bar with Showmaker, but we've got another engaged bottom side Beryl once again going down very low, but the Silver Bolts are going to be respected. Deft going to back away.
I heard the ping thing that they do for summoners, and I looked, and Beryl, he's missing heal.
That's true. So they didn't get that one. We've got double teleports from both of the AD carries. We've moved back to the current season. Nuclear, that was a nice tumble.
Tucson went Aftershock this time, not Predator like he was known for before, so definitely playing much more for lane, which kind of makes sense.
All right, Rascal going to dive on in, but the passive is now ticking down. The Camille taking a lot of damage.
It's a winning matchup for the GP early, but right now we can see pretty much neck and neck for damage.
Yeah, and also neck and neck when it comes to the CS.
And he went Kleptomancy on GP, so that's interesting.
Of course he did, as Rascal's just looking for it, wanting to try and find this kill to flash forward, but the immediate flash from Nogari, and he's baited him so masterfully! And Canyon picks up the first blood.
That's classic Nogari. He's always thinking about the 1-for-1, the 1v1 in that scenario. He gets away with it, and so did DWG Gaming.
And also, the other thing about this is Nuggery, he opened with Kleptomancy, Sapphire refillable. He's having Sheen when he comes back into this lane. Good luck, have fun, Rascal.
And this is a Nogari approach. He does the same as Kleptomancy Camille against Renekton. Because if you're the enemy, you look at that and you're like, who do you think you are? You get tilted by how brazen a choice it is. And you say, what, is the jungler going to camp me? And the answer with Nogari is not necessarily. He will play up as if his jungler is there the entire time. And he gets away with brazen choices like this much more than often. Look at this. Sheen and also some more scaling. Sheen Cull, it is the proverbial middle finger to Rascal in the top lane.
Yeah, that is some investment banking if ever I have seen it. And we're going to have a look at this once again. The flashes were instantly timed.
I love how he walked up, basically asking Rascal to go for the hookshot, flash for flash. And even if Rascal trades the kill here, it's still bad for him.
Yeah.
That is how terrible of a situation the top lane state was. And now I don't know how Rascal's going to somehow sustain through this lane. And Gangplank, he's gliding.
I love players who can show their swagger in terms of their micro movements, but also their rune choice, their item choice.
What about skin choice?
I mean, it's a pretty tilting skin, so I'll give it that.
Is he playing Nutcracker?
Yes, it's the Toy Soldier one.
Yep, that one.
Noguri knows what he's doing. He's tilting people, and it's working pretty well this far.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Nutcracker is definitely the tilt. I actually didn't remember which skin he was using, and then as soon as you brought that up, I assumed that was what he was doing. You can see it is a decent CS margin for Rascal, but on top of everything, it's bad news.
Oh, we haven't seen a Kleptomancy GP in months, maybe
I know.
even over a year, but this is just the Noguri way. And now, does Cuz spend all of his time top, and they get potentially reverse matched up on the bot side and get Vayne snowballing? Like, what is the cost here if you do play top side is potentially Vayne getting a double kill, and then GP will be GP, and Vayne's ahead.
Oh, Deft is going to get booped out of the way there with the Condemn. Nuclear not going to get the last shot. Of course, it's a bit cheating being Vayne, because you only need 3 bullets, whereas Deft needs 5. As the Gragas not going to show himself. Good vision here for DAMWON. Bottom side, and the top lane vision was just recently cleared from Cuz. Is what allowed Rascal to have a little bit more lane presence here and pushes past the river. But in a scenario where it was Kingzone with a lot of lane control, especially in the mid lane and bottom side working out quite well, feels like it's all just gone wrong.
It's a nightmare. You can see Rascal's pinging the lane. He's like, what do you want me to do right here? I can't just walk up and eat the minions. I can lose all my HP. And this freeze is large enough to where it can be perma-frozen.
Also, Showmakers up in CS and roaming on Yasuo versus Azir, which is, I think,
Standard.
a little bit about the player matchup. Remember, it's Sejuani Azir, so not a lot of synergy there because they don't get the permafrost interaction, but it should be priority Azir, and theoretically, some threat level onto the Yasuo. Yep, this is in a reality of the name badges being on as Showmaker's roaming has been clear for everyone to see. As Renekton in the previous game was what set up the bot lane advantage.
Yeah, it was a Renekton with what, 6 out of 7 kill participation at 15 minutes into the game?
Yep.
That was not too bad at all.
Ooh. Sir Thomas.
Yeah, looking adorable as usual.
I wanted to throw that in there. I just felt like we weren't really giving him attention.
Well, the Coin Emperor
And he does
didn't
get a
come
little bit
this time.
upset.
Yeah, he does. What were you saying there, Papa?
The Coin Emperor isn't on the Rift this time. It's back to the Earth, I believe, on the time.
Well, September is in effect. He's busy. You know?
Thank you very much.
Rascal trying to back with a good lane state where possible.
Also wants to get his Tiamat so that he can clear out this wave as quickly as he can. Stop Noguri from having full control.
Noguri had a great interview where I believe it was Kesper, it might have been Invent, asked him about the most tilting top lane champions. And his thing was, if you play Kleptomancy top, make sure not to pop the items, not to pop the gold satchels, so that if the enemy tabs, they're extra tilted to see 3 gold satchels, because they don't know if you've been popping them or if you just got 3 in the last couple of seconds. He knows how to tilt people. He's definitely the proverbial Teemo player, so he's having a ball.
Yep, Teemo Singed is probably how he grew
This
up.
is pretty good.
Yeah, we're looking for it on
Flashes
Noguri.
up.
He has a full health bar, has Cannon Barrage available as well. See whether he can try and go for it. The flash was used, but the ultimate's going to land there from Cuz. Comfortable kill from Kingzone as Noguri was pushed a little bit too far.
And Canyon's not in position to punish on the bot side or make a play here, apart from Ocean Drake. So that one, getting the flash especially, is a nice feels moment for Kingzone.
Now, DAMWON, they're going to get an Ocean Dragon, but the way that their team composition fights, Ocean doesn't do anything in the later stages of the game other than adding benefit to Baron. They want to go in one fell swoop. Gragas, Kaz, Yasuo, ult, Gangplank. There's no world almost where they back up after a fight, wait the 90 seconds that Ocean takes to regenerate your HP, and then do another fight.
And even for lanes, GP loves it, everyone else can take it or leave it. So there's not even a huge amount of lane power bought by the Ocean Drake, which usually first spawn and first 2 spawns, Ocean, is about winning lanes.
Yeah.
Only GP is deriving a lot there because Vayne finds it very hard to go through her mana bar.
Well, Tucson and Deft still relatively comfortable, even though that Ocean Drake did go down. talking about the fact that Nuclear probably not going to be using much of that mana bar. It does still have a full one, but maybe you can now use Condemn off cooldown or something like that.
So let's see if there was really any validity to Noguri flashing here, because in hindsight, your thought is no. Yeah, he's trying to flash, I guess, out of our range, but the moment the hook shot was mid-air, I think he was done. So that's just a mistake from Noguri.
Almost always going to be going down in that scenario regardless.
Canyon now making his way up to the top lane. They have a control ward.
Trying to return the favor here as Rascal holding onto this minion wave outside of the turret range. Avoid another plate going down, but these minions aren't going to be able to do it. The gangplank also not going to be pushing up any extra distance.
Pyke spotted every time he roams. There's been entire river control until Pyke placed that one control ward beneath the model of Azir. Going the way of DAMWON, so trying to make a play mid-side, but this should be predictable.
Yeah, remember, Windwall pretty strong against
Cleanse
the
as
bone
well.
skewer.
It's Cleanse Yasuo, so this should be very hard to pull off.
Clears out the minion wave very comfortably. Nowhere near any plates for Nayan, of course. And he's still down in farms. I don't know how Showmaker creates himself 10 plus.
What do you reckon the gold lead is for GP in the top side with Klepto? 800? That's kind of where my head is at.
I think it might be the actual just gold lead of this game being its favorite.
You think it's 1100? I hope the observers show us. I'm very interested because we just don't see Klepto GP anymore. He gets free procs of usually Grasp from the Undying, but would have been the Klepto in this matchup.
Yep. Don't know how many sacks of gold he has actually accrued for himself either.
I would say he only has a 600 gold lead.
All right, so you got 6, 8, and 1100 are our predictions. Hopefully, the powers up that be give us the full info.
I'm hoping that they just wait until that advantage is 1100.
Or you just wait till
he
finishes the cull and it cheats 350 gold.
Yeah. Perfect. Well, Tucson and Deft still trying to find an opportunity to win their lane. You know that they're capable of it.
500 LS closest.
Oh, damn.
Nice.
Okay. A kill working out for Rascal there, as you can see.
Only 110 gold. That's pretty unlucky.
Wow. It is. The change to Klepto was a big problem as Noguri is going to get stunned, immediately eats some oranges, throws down the cannon barrage, and Cuz wondering whether or not he can actually win this. Great hook shot comes in from Rascal though. And the Hextech ultimatum comes down to guarantee the kill. Now Naeon's going on in as Showmaker locks him down. Good flash to get out of the Emperor's Divide that hits absolutely no one. And Kingzone have to slink away. It's a 1-for-1 in the end, but DAMWON with full control bottom side in the meantime.
And that means that Nuclear gets 2 plates. This is really big beside a DAMWON. If this was 30 seconds later, the play is strong from Kingzone. They could turn on to Rift Herald. But unfortunately, given the timing, it is consequential that Nuclear picks up that goal.
Yeah, nicely done. That's called trading up for DAMWON Gaming. 500 extra gold is going to be added onto their lead. 1,500 now. This DAMWON squad that have had a lockdown on the early game every single game.
And I honestly think that with the Klepto trade, I'd love to interview Noguri and ask him about it, because I think he's fine going top, dying a couple of times, getting Klepto procs and cull, and then being online when he'll be online. As long as he's keeping up in farm and he's ahead 10 CS, if you're killing Noguri, you're not putting Vayne behind. And Vayne getting her items on a decent clip, it is much more important than GP randomly dying 3 times in lane.
When we take a look,
it's a forgiving champion at the top side.
Yeah.
When you play Noguri, I mean, he gets off a pretty good ultimate during all of this. Eventually, he's brought down, but Canyon giving Showmaker and himself the exit after having flash. Coming back into live, unfortunately for DAMWON, it's another open dragon.
Oh dear.
That's a tragedy.
That is not necessarily fantastic. I mean, after the Infernal Cloud Infernal from our previous series, I think that having some more oceans in the current climate of South Korea is definitely important.
I looked outside, it's very sunny right now.
Really? No. Ah, okay. Apparently it's really sunny in Jeju Island since it's past. As Kingzone thinking about a fight. Barrel not going to be invested just yet. We're looking to try and grab ourselves the ever-popular Ocean Drake.
They've lost river control they had previously, so I think it's fine from a DAMWON perspective to give up the Ocean here. They only have to take the fight if they're really feeling it. Remember, no TPs for the top laners, but Cannon Barrage available.
Yep. You got Tucson wandering around the river here as well, exactly where he wants to be, his natural habitat, if you will. We've got 2 river beings, in fact, from the support roles in Thomas Kench and Pike.
Oh. We're still waiting for the mid-game climax between these 2 team compositions. I feel like the first real major team fight will probably decide the remainder of the game.
I think it's going to be a lot more onus on Kingzone to find something.
The turret HP in every single lane, it's quite healthy, Atlas. We are in a...
Wait, what are we going to call it?
This is like a prehistoric role state.
Oh my goodness, the Jurassic state.
I'd love to pick your brain though, LS, because there's so much scaling on both sides. Whether it's just a 5v5 scaling advantage or even just how the game is likely to play out, I'm in 2 minds, so I want to kind of get your thoughts on it initially, as we might have to hold that point. Like, what are you feeling here? Because on the one hand, I think that at some point Camille runs at GP and GP's sad.
All right, Bone Skewer's going to come in. There is so much damage, and he was just routed. Deft picks up the kill, and that's a great person to have the money on Kingzone's side.
He's just caught alone there, and that should mean Ocean Drake again. An acceptable loss, but Canyon in no man's land to open the play.
Absolutely
so about
know what you want.
The team compositions that you were just asking. So I feel like Gragas is going to conduct himself as the same champion 2 items forward against the champions on Kingzone. Rascal, he will scale all the way up to 6 items. Gangplank is probably feeling like a 5-item champion in this game, whereas Yasuo and Vayne, they can keep going really high. But Azir, once he gets the Banshee's Veil at 4 or 5 items or whatnot, it shuts down a lot of openings that DAMWON has for it. Kai'Sa, likewise, will scale up massively, and then it makes it very hard for the melee range of DAMWON. So I'll give it to Kingzone there, but at the 3-4 items, giving it to DAMWON.
It's really interesting because a couple of variables. Usually you just like Azir against Vayne and resetting a Wombo comp. Usually the Wombo comes in, you say cleanse flash away from a defensive Emperor's Divide, and then you win the team fight. But because this new double lifesteal Vayne build is coming out, Vayne can probably tank a lot of that incidental AoE damage and then kind of rush at Kai'Sa or rush at Azir and force them out of the fight. So with the items changing, I tend to agree with you, but usually I really like Azir teamfight reset into AoE damage against a mid-range comp like DAMWON.
So you're expecting Nuclear to go for the Bloodthirster instead of Infinity Edge build here on this Vayne?
We'll wait and see, because he's already going into a Zeal item. It might be Phantom Dancer just on the defensive side, but I would have actually predicted kind of Rage Blade Bloodthirster. That's what we saw the last time out coming through from aiming. I think if the Bloodthirster's not there, you really do get randomly killed by Sand Soldiers very often.
I think Mercurial Scimitar has a lot of value as well in this game.
You need the overshield though.
No, you need triple lifesteal.
Yeah.
You need triple.
Yeah, triple lifesteal maybe.
Whoa, okay. Nogari's going for
Old
the
school,
classic
baby.
Zatai build. This was his Poppy build. Just to point that one out to you guys, bit of old LPL knowledge.
Well, the game is much slower than games previously played.
What about 5v5 Final Destination LS?
Oh, we find the ultimate there as Showmaker cleanses it immediately. Barrel is going to come in, but we don't find the last breath. And Deft has found the Void Seeker.
What?
Shelly's still in this fight. Cannon Barrage on top of his own team. An odd move there from Nogari is, there we go, body slam onto a couple of members. Tucson survives for a while, but not long enough. Beryl is going to eat Canyon Sand Soldiers, eating up the backline of this fight as the Tornado flies on through, but watch Neon's health bar, see whether he's still alive here as Showmaker's able to get himself out of the way. Neon in the backline, Deft also in the backline, supercharges forward. Does have that ultimate on cooldown, can't chase this DAMWON squad. And they are going to get the inside track on this outer turret.
And so now they're going to raise the mid-tier 1 turret. You can see Deft, he is prowling on the left-hand side, looking for any opening that he could maybe take to get a kill. And off of this, DWG Gaming, they come out ahead. They're currently at a 4,000 gold lead here at 20 minutes. Gangplank, the Yumu's build that we were just talking about before the fight, it means they're identifying we need to win in the mid-game pivot before it carries on to late game. And that's what Gangplank's build's designed to do. That's what Vayne and Yasuo are gravitating towards as well. Probably want to do a lot more fighting.
But here's my hot take. they should have won by way more, but they choose to finally engage after missing Cast and missing Cannon Barrage. They still go for the hard engage, and it ends up a 1-for-1. With the items where they are, this should be kind of the 3-for-0 into maybe off-spawn Baron. And let's mention Baron clearly. It's just spawned. The enemy team is Kai'Sa Azir. You really couldn't choose 2 more high-damage champions to Baron, and it's something that Kingzone and DAMWON need to be aware of.
Yeah, no Mountain Drakes on the map just yet. Next one's going to be another Ocean.
Really
our thirds.
So it's going to be a Baron, is what you're saying. Everyone's going to put all their wards topside, and randomly someone will solo Ocean to no benefit.
Yeah, and no one's going to really notice or care.
Listen, we're going to decide the game over the Ocean Drake.
Oh, that's where the team fight
Papa, you're
happens?
headed there.
Oh.
Come on.
I don't know if that's even been spoken about on broadcast. It's a secret.
It hasn't yet. I was
It's
going
a
to
very public secret.
And the Silas was in the game and it needed to make thievery hijack jokes, but it just didn't happen. The game was too exciting.
Because we got big consequence. We're going to Worlds somebody.
Exactly.
Ooh.
One of Kingzone or DAMWON are definitely going to Worlds after this series. That is what we can guarantee.
But will it be after this game? Because we like a lot of what DAMWON has done in their previous games. They're ahead in this game for a 4th time in a row. But that moment around Baron gives me pause, LS and Atlas, because they seemed very rushed when they shouldn't have been after cooldowns are already down. So they need to get back, reset, take a chill pill, and just put all their abilities together.
Barrel. Skewer does come down onto Barrel. Oh, God.
Yeah,
Few
Sir
extra
Thomas.
autos.
Yeah. He's
Ouch.
feeling it.
But you notice Sir Thomas continues working.
He can continue to
walking
waddle
forward.
away, yeah, like the
He's
Adonis
just not
that he
worried.
is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Talk about Savant, he is definitely one of them.
Yeah. Super Savant.
Well, Camille moving up from the bottom side of the map. Nogri already here as this battle for the Ocean Drake. It's precisely what we were talking about. Tucson, that was a deep water dive he didn't want to take. A bit of a belly flop.
Pike actually finds it very difficult to play around Gragas Yasuo because if he ever looks for Bone Skewer, he dies during last breath. He's very squishy and can't disengage to use his great health mechanic. Kingzone, thankfully, no one wants to find. The script is wrong, LS. We're going into uncharted waters because the Ocean was a freebie.
Yeah, and Kingzone maintain vision around Baron while they take the Ocean Drake as well. So it was about as free as you could possibly get.
DAMWON chose to reset instead. See if that means anything. The vision exhaustion plays that we always talk about, unlikely to happen because only quadra control wards, 2 that can be placed, 1 each from Gragas and Tahm Kench at once. Reset happens for Kingzone, and Miramata will be done soon, so some of those important item timings starting to come together for Kingzone.
Nogari's still with an advantage here as we have a look at the bottom side. We'll see whether he's building towards his Duskblade of Drakthar for as much cannon barrage damage as possible. He will need to use it on the enemy team in order to utilize it.
I'd actually hate it because they have Yasuo, so it's double AD, triple AD threats, so I don't know if Flat Pen has any real value. I don't mind Youmu's because moving fast can actually be really important. If he's going to play weak side and get no jungle help, Youmu's very good as a kind of extra summoner spell on a much shorter cooldown. But double Flat Pen here would be kind of concerning for me.
See where Nogari is going to go with this build. So certainly a lot of options. There's a tactical sweep, going to tactically miss. On Rascal's side is now Tucson's thinking about trying to skewer a Showmaker, but he has Wind Wall. There is no chance that is going to happen, as that was a cute little barrel there from Nogari.
We're in a
lull state. Oh yeah.
That's what we're.
I was going to ask you guys a question. What's your favorite? What's your favorite sound effect in League of Legends?
The Jax thwomp against a turret. The thwomp, 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 because he keeps his passive stacked. I love
that's
that
true.
one. That's my favorite.
That's a pretty good one. We've spoken about that one before. What's your favorite?
The Nexus dying. That's my favorite.
What's your favorite champion? Is it a Thomas Kench one?
My favorite what?
Your favorite
champion effect?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
come in. Deft is going to pay a visit to the bottom side as Nogari will die. Deft is tanking this turret for as long as possible, and Rascal's going to be saved because of it. Not going to be able to start this Baron because no one fell down in that trade, and Deft very close to that teleport being available as well. Bone Skewer lands onto Canyon. Sand Soldier damage has to be respected here. Neon now with double pen and the Nashers too.
And this is the scaling quotient we discussed, LS pointed out. I mentioned it during Champs, that the piggyback ganks to get the Camille further ahead. Camille may just have one rotation, no Sterix gauge for a while. One of the costs of not going the Youmu's. Rascal keeps pushing. We know how fast he kills turrets. That means that DWG Gaming have to eventually roll the dice on Baron.
Yeah, very comfortable there for Rascal just to push that minion wave all the way up to the turret. And Nuguri, because he was so high level, had a pretty decent death timer there as well as the minion wave. He's going to crash on that inner, so that has really allowed Rascal to claw his way back into this matchup as Nuclear taking a fair bit of damage here. Looks like Deft is going to go for the Uzi build on this Kai'Sa as well, with a Hurricane coming in next most likely.
And you can just see Nuguri, he wasn't even expecting this really as a possibility, given how he was positioned.
You see the vision line so shallow, LS, so that's just the roll of the dice when Kai'Sa's in the game with TP. That's the cost you have to take. It can happen basically off cooldown every single time, and soon you won't even need Kai'Sa to make a similar play on the Camille.
And it's feeling like Kingzone are back in the driver's seat, but it's not represented in the gold just yet. 3,000 is going to be the advantage for DAMWON here. We have a look. The answer is going to be Sterix Gauge as item number 3 for Nuguri.
The timings will just get thinner. You make that play again, and the Baron is started by DWG Gaming, and the TP's slightly too late, and someone's popped by Gragas Yasuo. A lot of conditionals. The hype thing for viewers at home is it might be skill expression that actually decides this game and potentially either sends a team to Worlds or puts the proverbial, not literal, we're in Korea, but proverbial silver scrapes on the playlist and gets us to a game number 5.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely looking like we could go there. Kingzone, they're down 3K right now, but the tipping point is about to come in where their team composition does start scaling better. It's not quite the 35 minutes of his year. He's coming online a little bit sooner.
He's online now. He's got his Morellonomicon power spike.
Oh. LS looks like you stole his lunch and then ate it in front of him and then stole
That's
his
what
wallet.
he's doing right now.
I do have half a sandwich in front of me, just to point out to you guys at home. But yes, he did manage to get that that item as item number 2.
The total gold here. I don't feel like there's a lockout point though, LS, just to be clear. Like, I don't feel like there's ever a moment where 100% of the time Kingzone win the 5v5, but it gets harder every item. I
want to point out, and I know I talk about this a lot, but I have you both here, so I'm going to take advantage of the opportunity. There's a massive lull state for the past couple of minutes. You know that there's no real way, even if DWG gets the mountain, that they can start the Baron right away.
Agreed.
Why does he have Morel?
Stop healing.
There's no healing.
To be fair, there's a lot of sort of healing, like Gragas, GP, Tom Kent all have kind of
What
healing.
if he just had Leandri's?
I mean, it would do more damage that way.
Yeah.
He would have a better choice, but with a worse bridge, because having the flat pen is good.
Well, let's blow up a bridge here, because here comes the TP from Vayne. We might get a 5v5.
Yeah. Cannon Barrage comes in there as well. Showmaker's set up. There's the Wombo combo. Tom Kench grabs the first kill as now Kingzone have been routed. They're split everywhere. The Mountain Drake is stolen, and now Cuz, the Silver Bolts are in his backside. Rascal looking to dive in and try and defend, but I don't think he can do anything. Does manage to hookshot to get himself out, but that is Dragon gone and 2 kills going over to Dom.
Oh, Abyssal Voyage. They're going for the Baron.
Move Showmaker over there as Beryl is going to eat himself a cannon and gives it to Canyon. That's a confusing sentence.
That was
as
cute.
Rascal's turned up, he wants to deny this one. Tactical sweep.
Tucson will be back soon, remember? Short death timer, but Cuz dead for a while.
Yeah. Oh, the Baron goes down so quickly.
Good God, they are eating through this. Naeon needs to try and get in there with the Conquering. Not going to be able to do so. Takes down the Gragas, but the Baron was secured.
That happened.
Yeah, he just died, I guess.
I don't have any words either, LS, but that is in fact the tail of the tape. We're more surprised the Baron wasn't stolen, but let's watch the replay here. And I talked about trying to position as Pyke against Gragas. He has no frontline around him because his frontline's on the Mountain Drake. And I think that's just Kingzone approaching the fight in a really weird scenario because Nuclear got to teleport in late, and yet Kingzone were never in the 5v5.
Yeah, and also the Wind Wall blocked the Emperor's Divide damage on 3 people as well.
And take a look at that. Why does Canyon move into Naeon?
He needed to buy an item.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Improved back. He doesn't like it.
You know why Naeon killed Canyon there, right?
That's
true.
Yeah, no, because he denied him being able to get the heal back from the smite to the level that he otherwise would have
That
done.
is some next level Morellonomicon building.
My God, that is how you play Morellonomicon League of Legends. That is the kind of League of Legends that you just don't understand, LS. Okay?
When are you going to make your video? You're doing the freezing one. When's the Morellonomicon video?
I think
that's the burning
next.
one. That's the burning one.
I think that one is definitely next on the agenda.
I cannot wait. I'm very excited.
Now, Nuclear doesn't have double lifesteal. It did go this Infinity Edge build, which has payoff, but I mentioned how I was loving what aiming was doing. With how much damage there is, there's always the concern here that you can pop the Kai'Sa, who's currently 0-0-1.
Well, Rascal and the boys are in here. There's the ult. It's going to land there onto Canyon immediately. Cannon Barrage in response. Kingzone immediately back away. Half health on the Gragas. Now they're thinking about re-engaging on this outer turret on the top side, 5 versus 5.
I'm not sure why Nuguri TP'd to this. He could be crashing the mid wave right now.
Because we fight!
Yeah. Oh, okay.
This is the K-Ram.
That's K-Top, actually.
Yeah, well...
K-Top, yeah. Get it together, Alex. Sorry.
I'm just...
Sometimes someone looks at you funny and ganked you too many times in laning phase, and you just want to fight them.
Yeah. Or... Never mind.
Thank you. There is no counter-argument.
I agree. I agree. Have to see what his next item is going to be. It is BF Sword already there. Could be the 4th item, Infinity Edge, for the biggest power spike that he could possibly find.
The double BF Sword.
Ooh.
4 gameplay.
That's the dream. That's what you got to do.
A little bit.
I mean, he's building Infinity Edge.
I'm getting into the weeds. I'm getting to the weeds a little bit, but I'm not a huge fan of Hurricane Kai'Sa against Yasuo or Gragas comp, because whether it's the win wall or the AoE threat, how often are you really hoovering damage in an AoE as Kai'Sa in this game? Like, you've already won, if that's something that's relevant.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
You know what item I do like on Kai'Sa?
Listen to me. What is
Morellonomicon?
Leandris.
Oh.
It's actually...
You know what I like on Kai'Sa Morellonomicon?
You get the Madness passive. Look at all the HP on the side of DAMWON.
Sangyun is the truther.
I tuned it right now.
you.
I was expecting to actually say it.
Because if you
won that game.
If you go AP Kai'Sa here, you chuck down long-range damage. The short-range DAMWON comp has to engage to stop being poked. So there's a lot of value there.
Necessarily need to be AP though. I feel like people misunderstand Leandris on champions that can utilize the AP benefit, because the Madness, you stack it up, you get the 10% increased damage, and the burn is insane.
And that doesn't actually require having any large numbers of AP at all.
Ezreal should have built it, but he never did.
Yeah, especially with the
Iceborne
Gauntlet. Yeah, it's crazy. Now his AP ratios aren't there, and we didn't even see it. Whole time.
Someone needs to make a tooltip with the Madness passive, and it's LS getting madder and madder about
In fact, we need to actually add that to the game.
You should cast a game wearing a Haunting Guise.
I will.
And grant him Madness.
Yeah.
Well, Infernal Dragon. No, this is still a pretty even game.
Yeah.
Right now.
This is going to be execution you have to
it's
feel.
7,000 gold to lead, and Kingzone have just
AP.
stolen this one away as in goes Rascal into the backline. Condemn not going to find the stunners. Oh my god, that damage. Canyon locks down the Azir, and now the consistent damage isn't there. Def, can he actually get the autos as the Pike resets are coming through? But that is all they are going to be, just the one. And Kingzone have to run the hell away. Oh, Beryl with the flash, licky tongue almost to take down the Rascal.
And Rascal, he's
holding
taking
on
out
to
the
minion
wave.
waves. Yeah.
It's smart from him. He's trying to waste as much time as possible. Doesn't want the game to end right now.
Well,
now
Tom Kent's
Tushin
with thick skin. He can tank the turret, so it's going to be on Tushin to stop this.
They can't end the game,
He
though,
needs
I think.
to snipe the cannon
He
minion.
needs to get the cannon.
He's going to do it.
Nicely done.
Yeah, condemned into the wall, and now the minion wave is a long way away, and they're going to try and tank it. Backdoor bonus pretty damn strong, and DAMWON are going to give up.
That's very, very smart. Ming was criticized yesterday for how he wasn't able to treat the minion waves in that RNG loss. Game number 3, I believe. Good call from Kingzone. They understood what to do, and that does buy them way more than you'd expect, because they don't even lose half their mid lane inhibitor health.
And they got the Infernal Drake. Like, they're sitting pretty right now.
Here's the other really scary thing right here in this team fight is once again, Kingzone are mispositioned.
Yeah.
They got the Infernal, which by the way was massive. Azir got something like 30 AP from that. Imagine what Kai'Sa and Camille are getting in terms of value. So the Infernal is definitely going to be important for the Baron after this. It's beautiful by Tushin to